Loatheb. Loatheb's gonna be the final boss in the Plague Wing. There's not much to say about Loatheb, but even though there's not many abilities or a lot of strategy behind the fight, it's still very hard to execute it properly. So what's going down with this boss? Corrupted Mind. Loatheb places a 1-minute link cooldown on all healing spells. That's for everyone, not only healers, including Cleanse, Dispel, Remove Poison, etc, etc, Bandage. This means you only get one healing spell to cast for each minute, including Cleanse, Dispel, Remove Poison, as already mentioned. This means any healer will have a cooldown on all his healing spells for 1 minute if they heal. You can already imagine if all healers blow their one spell in the first minute, the first 10 seconds of a minute, then by the 50th second the tank will be dead. So it's all about timing and making sure the healers agree when to heal the tank, like at what percentage, who's healing the tank, and that everyone knows who's next and who was before him, so that the timer doesn't fuck up. Poison Aura. 5-yard range, very close. Does 196 nature damage inflicted every 6 seconds for 12 seconds. And there's 12 seconds between each Poison Aura. Shamans, we will need your totems for this. Poison cleansing totems. Inevitable Doom. Loatheb begins to cast it after 2 minutes into the fight. So the first 2 minutes is pretty much a free fight other than the healing issue, but the damage doesn't have any is not related to that. After those 2 minutes he will inflict 2550 shadow damage after 10 seconds of the debuff. Everyone will get it, you can't avoid it, it's what it is. What's important is after the 2 minutes into the fight he will do this, and then every 30 seconds he will do it again. And after 5 minutes, since the start of the fight, he will do it every 15 seconds. You can see this as the enrage timer of this boss. If you don't kill him before like he starts doing Inevitable Doom every 15 seconds, you're gonna wipe. There's no way healers can keep up the raid, because they're never gonna be healing the raid. They only have one healing spell in a minute, and they will always use it on the main tank. This is why you need your own consumables, and your own bandages, and your own pots, and your own health stones, etc, etc. One last thing, the boss will spawn spores in the room. The spores, when killed, they're very low HP. When killed, they will give you a critical chance increase of 50%, and a spell critical chance increase of 60%. So, and your abilities will cause no threat. So you can go full out during when you have this spore. There's no worry about threat, and you will do a lot more damage because of the crits. You can choose who gets it. There's one spawning every 12 seconds, and only 5 people can get it every 12 seconds. So we just go from group to group. Spore spawns, group 1 goes. Spore 2 spawns, group 2 goes. Spore 3 spawns, group 3 goes. And we decide a bit on the high DPS groups. It's not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 through 8, but it's going to depend on what groups do more damage. What groups do we want faster with the debuff, so they can get 50% increased crit or 60% increased crit, and actually make sure the boss drops faster. Because if you pick your best DPS as the 8th spore only to get it, then obviously they're gonna do less damage than someone that does less damage in general. Anyway, what's interesting for this fight, as I mentioned, after 2 minutes he will cast Inevitable Doom. For this we take, prior to the encounter, we will take a Greater Shadow Protection Potion. This will absorb that damage. So at 2 minutes we will not take any damage, you'll see this in the video. 10 seconds after that, we make sure to pop a new Greater Shadow Protection Potion, so we can get the Inevitable Doom of 30 seconds at 2 minutes 30, do not do any damage. So at 2 minutes 40, we don't need to do anything, we do nothing. Again, 30 seconds after that, that's at 3 minutes, we will take another Inevitable Doom. So 10 seconds after, because the debuff takes 10 seconds obviously, everyone bandages. 30 seconds later he will do another one. That's 3:30, 3 minutes 30 after we start the fight. 10 seconds after, so at 40, we will receive the damage. You use Hellstone or Whip a Root Tuber. 10 seconds later, same thing. 10 seconds later, he does it again. 10 seconds after he did it, we get the damage. We take another Shadow Protection Potion. 440, we don't need to do anything because we didn't take any damage. We bandage. And at that point, it's anything or we wipe. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Inevitable Dooms. And if we don't last until that point, or we don't kill him until that point, it's a wipe. So there's not a whole lot to explain about this boss, but it's still difficult. If we go to the fight, Loatheb. Here they're starting. They're gonna pull. See, initially 12 seconds before the first spore spawns. In tactics, they say that the spore spawns on the opposite side of the raid, so it should be on the other side of Loatheb. But in this video, which is Anathema, it spawns on the left of them at the set spot. So we're not sure how this is gonna be, but it shouldn't matter much. You saw 5 people move there to take the spore. It just died. They have the increased crit chance. They're probably gonna send in the locks now, because they're the ones that die the last. Get the fungal spore, 60% increased spell damage, and they start. Notice the tank. He will drop down sometimes. He only gets 1 heal every time. There, that's 1 heal. That's 1 healer that healed, and then they're announcing the next one that's supposed to heal. The Inevitable Doom, the first one, will be cast 2 minutes after we started the fight. Right now we're at 1 minute. Good to know for Warlocks. You can drain life yourself back to full. There's no cooldown on it. You will not get a minute cooldown, so that's why you guys are the ones to die last. Health stones, very important. Use different ranks of health stones. I mean, you can carry 2 or 3 depending on the rank of the Warlock, so make sure you ask the Warlock. They should divide them as well. Make sure you have enough Shadow Protection Potions for this fight. You'll need them. Make sure to cleanse the melee with the totems, and then everything should be good. This fight will fall or stand based on if the healers can keep the tank up or not. Every wipe that's in this video is basically because the tank died. Because there's no threat, you can't over aggro, you just go full out. There's no damage other than the Inevitable Doom. You see no one's taking damage. Inevitable Doom 1, it's in 10 seconds. You'll notice, since they are all potted, no one will take damage. 4, 2, 1. 2 minutes mark. 10 seconds debuff. Damage arrives at 10 seconds. People are not taking damage, and now you'll see some people get some damage, but it's not that much because they potted for it. There, some people took some damage, but they shouldn't do anything. 10 seconds after. Now you do what we mentioned earlier. We go fast back to the list. On the next one, we will pop another greater Shadow Protection Potion. So the next one will also be fully absorbed, which is already now. They got the debuff, fully absorbed. This was the 3-minute mark. So at the 3-minute mark, 3:10, we will bandage. Sorry, that was a 240. Yeah. After this one we bandage, and then you Healthstone, and that's how the fight carries on all the time. Inevitable Doom comes, we prepare. And your cooldowns always gets popped. I mean, the thing you do to heal yourself, the bandage or the Healthstone or anything, you only do that after the 10 seconds. Obviously, it's a dot that ticks, and then now people are taking more damage already. Their greater protection potion are weared out. We're Inevitable Doom 4 now. There's a timer as well when it starts being every 15 seconds instead of 30 seconds. They still rotate the spores. There we go. Everyone has it again, and people will start dropping low now. Every now and then you see a healer cast a heal anyway on the raid. It's risky because, I mean, depends on how many healers you have. The healers will have to find an agreement. Miss Perfect will probably arrange this on how many healers are healing the tanks. How many does he need to go around the full minute? So I don't know. Does he need one every 10 seconds? Then he will only need 6 healers. But he'll probably need more. Does he need one every 5 seconds? Then he needs 12, and so on. So you can have some healers free to heal the raid, but don't forget that they only have 1 heal every minute still. As you can notice, they're dropping very low now. They're already on Inevitable Doom 6. Oh. 14%. Everyone's dropping low, but Warlocks will stay high. Inevitable Doom 6. There we go. %10 on the boss. The next Inevitable Doom will be the one starting the 15-second mark, which means from now on, after this one, this is the first one from the 15-second mark, it will be every 15 seconds. That's pretty much the enrage. That's the first one, and the next one's already counting down 12 seconds. This is where it becomes complicated, so it needs to be down by this one. By the 7th one, it definitely needs to be down. Another Inevitable Doom. The rate's gonna start suffering now, because it has 2%. Inevitable Doom 8 coming up, but they won't reach that one. They do. There we go. Some people will die. That's Loatheb. All comes down to proper healing assignments. If healers know what to do, when to heal a tank, maybe they should go for a different TeamSpeak channel. This will all be discussed, but at least you have a general overview of the fight. For melee and DPS, range DPS, there's not much to it except for getting your spores and making sure you pop your cooldowns whenever we call out to do so. This will be the list that we will follow. Remember to bring enough greater shadow protection potions, because every failed try will probably use 1 or 2 or 3 depending on how far we get, but probably always 2 at the very least. That's it for Loatheb, and that's it for Plague Wing. Next wing will be Abbot Wing.